Well, welcome, Sheila. I want to thank you so much for spending the time with us and coming in. It's always a pleasure to be able to see you and spend a little bit of time. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your farm.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for inviting us to participate in this event. It's been really heartwarming. People reaching out and doing these sorts of Zoom events to keep the cheese community kind of communicating and letting everyone know that we're still here and talk about all of the great cheese that we're still making. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sheila Flanagan. I am I guess the head cheesemaker and bottle washer at Nettle Meadow Farm and Cheese Company in the Southern Adirondacks in upstate New York. We are a 55-acre farm that works with 11 other farm families. So we're encompassing about almost 300 acres now of pasture for our goat, sheep, and cows for our mixed milk cheeses. Nettle Meadow originally started in 1990. In 2005, my partner Lorraine and I bought the farm and started expanding it and building our cheese repertoire. We started out in the beginning back in 2005 with 36 very ragtag goats of a lot of different varieties and a lot of mixed varieties. We slowly built the farm. We started out with one tiny 15-gallon pasteurizer that worked 3 or 4 days a week, but we quickly added some equipment and other materials, added some molds. In 2006, 2007, friends encouraged us to add some sheep, which we did. We added them as lambs, which was lots of fun when they were younger. And then by 2007, 2008, we started introducing our Three Sisters cheese, which was our first 3-milk cheese. And then soon after that, our Briar Summit, which is a sheep, goat, and cow pyramid with a little cow cream. We also, even in that first year, decided to add some Jersey cows. Our first year, we had 2 cows, and we started expanding from there. Our principles have always been the animals, first and foremost. We've never made a whole lot of money at what we're doing, but we've always done all we can to increase and benefit the animals at the farm. One of the things for those of you who may not be familiar with us that we do is we have the Kemp's Animal Sanctuary at our facility, where we have lots of younger animals who might be differently abled, may not have all of their legs or may have some other issues, and we have so many retired animals, retired sheep and retired goats that have worked for us for sometimes 10, 11, 12 years, sometimes for 3 or 4 years, and something happened and they needed retirement. So because we're working with all these other farm families now, we're able to really focus mostly on the sanctuary animals at our farm where the cheese plant is. And so we have tons of these retired animals and other sanctuary animals, from, you know, donkeys to goats to sheep to just pretty much anything under the sun. Just yesterday, somebody came and dropped off truly the most cantankerous potbelly pig I have ever met in my life. She's probably 10 or 11 years of age, quite a character. And Lucy, she's the newest member of our sanctuary. Other things that are very important to know about us is not only do we care about organic and natural foods for the animals, but we insist upon all natural, high quality ingredients wherever possible. And really always for all of our cheeses, from natural lavender flowers that we use to make a tea to put into our honey lavender, to really some very high quality small batch ales and bourbons that are made here in the Adirondacks that we use for cheeses like the Amber Kunik. The other principle that is extremely important to us is that everything is handmade. These days, there's a lot of buzzwords. People like to talk about artisan products, handmade products. One thing that is incredibly important to Nettle Meadow is everything really is hand poured. We hand pour the milk out of cans into the vats so that the milk doesn't get beaten up. So that it has the best quality long-term flavors. We cut every batch of cheese by hand with small cheese knives. It is not mechanized. And then we hand pour everything from those cheese vats into molds every day, and then carry them down to our aging room by hand as well. So it's really all a labor of love. And when I say that, I truly mean with the emphasis on labor. We probably have 12 to 15 people helping out in the cheese plant, some from the farm side as well, during different periods of the year, plus myself and Lorraine. So it takes a pretty large group to produce the moderate amount of cheese that we produce every day. And, you know, we have been well rewarded by awards. We've won awards from the World Cheese Championships, from the US Cheese Championships, numerous awards from the American Cheese Society. And we've been lucky enough both in January 2020 and January 2018 to receive the Good Food Award for the Kunik that we'll taste first. So those have all been those have been wonderful awards, and that certainly helped us to get the word out there about Nettle Meadow cheese and Nettle Meadow Farm. Jump in here before I get too far afield talking about cheese. Today, this Zoom is coming to you from our new facility, actually from the retail shop of our new facility, which is a 14,000 square foot building with about 6,000 square feet of aging space, which is really fantastic for us. We started out with a 15 by 15 foot aging room, and then expanded that to about 500 square feet, and then maybe 800 square feet. And I think now we're up to about 1,600 square feet of aging space, but we're producing so much cheese. Some of you may have seen our videos of our aging rooms recently, just chock full of cheese in this time of COVID-19, where we're not able to sell to all of the wonderful restaurants that put us on their cheese plates. So we really have been overflowing with cheese, and happily we've found good ways to handle that cheese, and have sent several hundred pounds, and actually into the thousands of pounds now, of cheese to local food banks in the area. But going back to my original point, we don't even have 2,000 square feet of aging space right now. So this new facility with 6,000 square feet of aging space will be really wonderful for us all, to not be bumping into each other, and also to have plenty of room for the cheese as time goes by. And we hope to have this whole thing up and running by this fall. Right now, we just have the retail space and some of the refrigeration and aging area open. So on the left there of that slide is a huge hall that we're actually going to put a cheese plant in, but we're going to keep some glass walls or plexiglass walls going through so that the public can see that amazing fireplace in the back of the picture, which up until a couple years ago was the largest fireplace in the Southern Adirondacks. So it should be pretty incredible if we can get it done, and we will get it done by October.
Tell us a little bit about each of the milks, how many cows, type of breed of cows, and who really takes care of them for you, because you have sheep's milk,
Right.
you have cow's milk, you have goat's milk. So that's a tremendous amount of milk and handling all of that for the husbandry and addition to getting it to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we started out with those 36 goats, and we grew our herd to well over 400. We have never specialized in a particular breed of goat. When we started at the farm, in fact, there were a lot of Boer goats or partial Boer goats at the farm, which made a lot of people laugh at us because Boer goats are usually meat goats. But what Boer goats are is they're also very large, hardy, big bone gals who could handle the Adirondack winters really well. And so as we grew our herd, we kept in the herd a little bit of hybrid vigor of that Boer goat community that was first at the farm when we got there. We also have only worked with Jersey cows because of their high butterfat, high quality cow's milk. And so we had 5 or 6 of our own cows, and then we have partnered with 3 local farm families who had some Jersey cows, and then worked with them to help financially support them to go out and get some more Jersey cows. So it's an all Jersey cow, pasture fed group of cows that also receive a small amount of a non-GMO grain in the wintertime. And then our sheep have always been East Frisians. We started out with a tiny group of 13 lambs from Old Chatham Farm back in 2007. And we have continued to grow that herd and grow that herd. What we did starting in 2017 and kind of completed the transition in 2019 is we looked around at our animals, at what we were trying to do with the sanctuary, and we decided to partner with a group of farm families that live nearby, and we leased our goats and our sheep to them with the understanding that we would be traveling to pick up milk from them 6 days a week. And our drivers are also trained. Some of them actually do double as farmhands. So they check on the well-being of all of those goats, sheep, and the Jersey cows 6 days a week as they pick up milk. They bring it back to the farm. We usually use all milk, and this was always very important to us from the beginning as well, to use milk within 36 hours of the animals being milked. So that's a little bit about the types of animals that we are milking, and how we manage to have so many animals and produce so much milk and produce so much cheese. When we started doing this, we were delivering the cheese, we were milking all the animals, and we were making all the cheese. And it was an overwhelming amount of work. We moved to distributors and kept milking and kept producing cheese. But as we've gotten older and as we've added so many animals to meet our demand, we felt the best thing would be to keep the sanctuary animals at our farm. And like I said, we're working with these 11 different families, see the animals 6 days a week, pick up milk 6 days a week. That's basically how we keep the wheels on the cart, so to speak.
So, when you're run us through a typical day that you have. You guys both are working the farm and making cheese. So I'm sure that there isn't one day that's exactly the same, but a typical day.
A typical day is pretty long. For instance, I will put my stuttering off on the hour that I started today. I start some days I sleep in till 5. That's like a weekend for me. But for instance, this morning I started at 2:30. I started pouring Chev from the night before. One of my co-cheesemakers came in and we made 5 batches of cheese this morning. We washed a lot of dishes. We went and checked on some of the more feeble. I went and checked on some of the more feeble animals pretty much as the sun came up. Made sure that Lucy was still okay, that potbelly pig I was referring to earlier. And we also have a group of kids that we just took in from Sprout Creek Farm, because Sprout Creek recently ended their long history of making cheese, and we're looking for a place to place their goats. And that was another area during this COVID period where we took on a group of animals. We took on the non-producers, and then the producing goats are now with 4 of those 11 families. Kind of spread them out so that it wasn't too much work for any particular family. And then so moving on with my day, I'm loaded a truck with some cheese that went out to a bunch of locations. Got my driver off who goes and picked up milk today. This whole time, Lorraine did some animal feeding, paid some bills, and then we've added to our whole workload the construction that's going on at this site, and working with those workers, trying to get some workers out the door to work here, some workers there. And then, before you know it, you turn around and it's time to cut those 5 batches of cheese we made and pour them. Wednesdays are one of our lowest number of employees, so we've kind of all had to roll up our sleeves, pitch in to get the cheese poured before I ran down here to try to get my computer set up so that we could do this Zoom meeting. And then when I'm done here, I'll still have people to follow up with, a bunch of licensing and permitting still to do for the building. I'll probably have several batches of cheese that still need flipping, and I know that I will have all of the wheels of number 26 still to wash with some apple whiskey before the day is over. So it's a long day. Some days are 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. pretty easily. That's a pretty standard day. And like I said, an easy day is a 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. day.
So who's taking care of the angry little pig?
The person that pulls the shortest straw. So it was poor Tara today that had to deal with Lucy. But we have a good crew. Our farm hands are, a lot of them have been with us a long time. Some of the folks even on the Zoom might know Desiree, because she's been to so many cheese shows over the years, and she actually manages our farm side now. Derek just came back to us from a gig doing big concerts, which obviously he can't do anymore. And then Tara, who's also been with us for years. So these are great people, and they know these animals backwards and forwards. They know when they're having a good day and a bad day. I can rely on all of them.
When you think about all of the times, I mean, you've been doing this for almost 15 years now. The public that have been buying your cheeses, has there been a pattern of style of cheese that you see that's been growing on your side?
Well, the bloomy rinds are what we're best known for, and that is what we have sold the most of over the years. The Kunik sales just continue to grow. We've added a couple of funky triple cremes recently, the Adirondack and the Geode, and those are doing quite well in sales as well. Fresh cheeses. What I'm noticing right now in this COVID world is we're selling tons and tons of mini-sized cheeses. So our little 3.5 ounce wheels that we have of the Kunik, of the Simply Sheep, and of the Amber Kunik, and tons of our 5 ounce cups, because they're cheap. People can grab them and go. They don't have to, they don't have to wait for them to be cut. They don't have to think too much about the price point because it's just a tiny little wheel of cheese or a pretty affordable cup of cheese.